Okay, it is February 15th. I hope that you guys had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Mine was spent with a toddler and an infant, just kind of hanging out. And our car died, so we had to go get the car repaired. But we did get out to see a few friends, which was really nice. To go spend some time with some friends and just play and, just get some mommy conversation in. Whenever you're stuck at home with kids all day, it's always nice to get some adult conversation in. So my sitter's downstairs now, so if we get interrupted by the sitter because she has a question, just kind of bear with me. But first of all, this is our first official call for your coach training. We wanted to do one last week, but it was the Super Bowl and Matt would left for the field, so I had to get my things in order. So now my sitter's here on Monday nights. So from here on out, we'll do our new coach call on Monday nights right before our team call. I really like doing our calls the same night as the dream team calls. Your talk is so cute, Brooke. I really like doing our team calls the same night as the dream team calls because it's one less call that you guys have to hop on during the week. I will make sure to post those recordings as they become available to me in our team page, and then you can go back as you have time to if you choose to listen to those recordings. But I found that our team was hopping on all these different calls, and whenever it was like, that's an hour you guys could be working your business in the evening instead of listening to another team call and another call. We're very blessed to have great leaders in our organization, but we can learn a whole bunch of information, but when it really comes down to it, we have to implement. And if we can listen to that on our own time and then implement on the time that we do have, that's where the beauty happens, where the magic happens. So what I wanted to cover with you guys tonight, I remember at this point in my coach training, I was starting to invite people and message and then follow up and make those connections with people. And it was like, I got to have some way to keep track of this. Like, I'm going to lose my mind if I don't get some type of organization in place. And I want to start off by saying that you're going to have some system in place that you're going to implement, and then you're going to change it. And then you're going to get it going, and then you're going to change it again. So it's a constant ebb and flow of finding what works for you. And I can share with you a whole bunch of different ways to organize things and take it with a grain of salt and know that what works for me may not work for you, or what works for Lisa or Lindsay may not work for you. And that's okay, because the beauty of this business is there are so many different ways to be successful. Or, we all want the same success, but there's no direct path to get there. Everybody can do it in their own way. I mean, you take a look at the top coaches in the organization, Melanie Mitra, who's number one, who we're part of her wonderful organization. She is very systems oriented, very much, if you want to succeed this, we're going to put you in a group and we're going to teach you how to do it. She's very systems, and she's very successful at it. You have Amy Silverman, who's number two, who is our free spirit, who has no systems in place whatsoever, and she's just as successful. You have Bonnie Engel, who doesn't like sneak peek groups. She hates coach training groups. She does everything via private message, and she's very, very successful in this business as well. So there is no right or wrong way to do this. That's my point, okay? You have to find what works for you. Our job, my job as your mentor, as your Star Diamond Upline, as your upline coach, is to make sure that I'm sharing with you all the different ways, share with you what I do, and then you can pick and choose how you want to implement and take things and do it. So as you're sending out these messages, as you're sending out these invites and everything, it's important to keep track of them. I am a pen and paper girl through and through. I don't get super fancy. I do track things on the computer because it was a lot easier to export my friends list onto a computer than it was to handwrite them all down on paper. And I'm going to show you guys how to export your friends list from Facebook tonight. You can go back and you can rewatch the recording and you can do it and get it squared away. So what I do every single month, I'm going to touch on this tonight on our team call as well, so you'll just hear it again. Yes, Lisa, it is. It is. So what I do every single month is I start the month with 3 different pieces of paper. Personally, I like loose leaf paper because I can then put it in a binder. I know several people who use notebooks and have one notebook for invites, one notebook for follow-ups, one notebook for reconnections. Any way you choose to do it. Again, it's just my job to share with you what I do, and then you can take it and you can take pieces of it and you can do it how you want. I have my follow-up list that I add to every month. I think this is like literally my 10th page for follow-ups because it's always feeling, Haley, you were on my follow-up list for a long time. Haley was like, I went back through my messages and I'm so glad that you reached back out to me because I'm so changed by this opportunity. Case in point, Liesel was one of my follow-ups. Okay. So make sure you're keeping a list of who you follow up with, especially if you've already chatted with that person a little bit and then for whatever reason you never pick back up the conversation, add them to your follow-up list, okay? I also have a list for current conversations. So who am I currently talking to right now? What conversations have I started? The people who you send that message to, your dog is so cute, how old is she? That's a current conversation. If they respond back, they go on my current conversations list because we don't want to forget about anybody, right? What a sour taste that is in somebody's mouth. It's like, well, you're having this great conversation and now, there's nothing there. So I have a current conversations list that I have going on right here. Oftentimes those current conversations people get transferred over to my follow-up list. That's just how it works. Then I have a list of all of my no's that I got. So the people who I followed up with, who I invited, and they told me no, or they said not this month. And oftentimes if they tell me no flat out, they go on that list. Or if they say not right now, they go on that list. But most of the time they just go right onto my follow-up list. So of all of those lists that I just shared with you, which one do you think is the most important? Follow-ups. That is where the beauty happens, all right? That is the list that's the longest. That's the list that is constantly changing. And that's the list where I love scratching people off and they go, join my team, join my challenge group. It's a great list to work from. I personally really like lists because it allows me to keep track of things. And that's where I do a lot of my business from. I like to use that loose leaf paper because whenever I go work at Starbucks or whenever we're traveling, I don't have to lug a binder around. I can put them all in a little folder and take them with me in a folder or in a notebook, whatever the case may be. So that's how I organize my people every single month. My next piece of paper is all the objections that I receive as I talk to people. And I'll talk about that more on our team calls tonight. I don't want to give away too much, but those are the objections that I receive. I won't like Shaco. I'm afraid I'm not going to like it. I don't want to invest the whole 30-day supply. Shaco's too expensive. I already do a really great fitness program. All those objections that I get put on a list and I keep track of them. Because if I'm getting those objections over and over and over again, that tells me that I need to share with people on my personal Facebook wall why that shouldn't be an objection, why that shouldn't be a concern with them. Why, I was doing a great fitness routine before too, but I was spending 2 hours at the gym and I don't have time for that. So, just to make sure you can show how you're living your life by overcoming those objections. And we'll touch more on that on our team call tonight. So those are my lists that I work from, and that's my pen and paper list. Now, what do I do on the computer with my messages and invites? I'm going to screen share with you guys real quick so you guys can see. I'm an Excel girl. I like Excel. It works well for me. So this is my invitation list. As you can see, I'm on the Ks right now. And the only people that I have skipped over are either people who I am in a little conversation with. They're a coach already. They're somebody who's given me a flat out no, like my sister-in-law. I'm not going to reach out to my sister-in-law about it. If she wants it, she's going to come to me. Those are the people that for whatever reason, maybe they unfriended me, those types of things. I just skip right over and I move right on. For all of these people, I put a little when we reconnected. If we followed up, I have a little chart up here at the top, my follow-up, the date that I invited them, the date that I followed up, and then details what we talked about. Like for this person, I emailed her the fix info. She's actually on my follow-up list now to keep continually following up with. So that's how I like to organize it. If you notice, I have a letter for each, or a tab down here for each letter of the alphabet. So as you expand your market and you expand your friends list, it's better to have, one thing as opposed to one spreadsheet that's 2,000 people long. It's better to break it up by letter. I find it's less overwhelming to be able to sift through things. At the very end, I have a current customers one. So as I'm going through and doing my spreadsheet, I go through and I move my current customers back here, and then I'll sort it alphabetically when I get through everything. So that is how I organize it. what I use this spreadsheet for is this is what I work from on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to hit the B's today, and I will go and I will start with the B's, and I will just go through until I hit my 10 or however many I want to get to, and I reconnect with them. I start a conversation, and I, get the conversation going. That's what I use electronically for. And this is just, like I said, this is my list of people to work from. However, I make sure that I work from my written lists first, especially with my follow-ups. And especially if I have messages sitting in my inbox, if I have people who have interacted with me on my page, those are the people I go to first. Does that make sense? To start that reconnection, to start that. Like, for an example, I had somebody comment on one of my workout pictures, like, I have that same tank top. So she's on my list to reconnect with. No, I didn't go, and she's going to run into her name here, but she interacted with me on my post. So I want to make sure that I go out and reconnect with her and connect with her in a private message now, and just kind of follow up that conversation. So that's something to think about. So how did I get this all in a nice, neat little spreadsheet? I did not spend hours of my life going through my friends list and putting this in a spreadsheet. That would take way too long, and I don't recommend doing it. So if you go to Facebook, I'm going to share a screen again here. Okay, let me turn my chat off so we're not going to be interrupted here. Okay. So as you go to your Facebook page here, if you go to your settings section down here, right here, this little lock up here, if you go to see more settings, it was just here, I swear, and you go to general over here, you go over here and it goes download a copy of your Facebook data. And when you click on that, you're able to download all your conversations, your photos, everything, and more importantly, a list of your friends. So whenever you do this, you're going to start your archive and you're going to download it. And it's going to take some time to download it. And then it'll give you a choice for how you want to do it, whether you want to do it in an Excel spreadsheet, whether you want it in Word, whatever the case may be. Whenever I did it, I chose the Excel spreadsheet. And you do have to reformat your spreadsheet a little bit. Like, I think it broke it up by first and last name, and then it had like their email address and all that stuff. Eliminate and delete the categories that you don't need, and combine the ones that you do. And that is what gave me that nice, neat list. And then I just sorted it from alphabetical A to Z, and then I broke it up by tabs for everything. So that's what I did. And I really, really highly suggest that you go through and download your friends from Facebook and get them started on some type of organized list for you to work from. So on the days when you sit down, you're like, I have to do my power hour, and I have no idea who to send a message to. Yes, you do. You have an entire list of friends that you can go and you can reconnect with, okay? Another great tactic to use, or a great way to do this, is you can go to your friends. Hold on one second. Let me go to my profile. Go to your profile. You can go to your friends here, and you can search for your friends. You can start at the beginning of the alphabet, AA. Well, of course, there's nobody for AA. AB. There are everybody on my friends list who have those in their first name, AB. Well, look, there are 15 people that you could reconnect with today and start a conversation with, okay? So if you're stuck with who to talk to, who to start a conversation with, you can, go right from your friends list. You can also just go through, okay, yesterday I did AB, today I'm doing AC. Not too many, I'm gonna go to AD and do AD. Okay, so go through, and you can go through and do all those things. Do I start conversations with other Beachbody coaches? No. Do I start conversations with people who are on my team? Not necessarily. I love you guys, but my power hour is dedicated to moving my business forward. Okay, does that make sense a little bit? And does that help you kind of realize, like, oh, there's some people that I can go and just reconnect with like that? And don't overthink the reconnection. Okay, like for example, if I go to AC, well, of course, there's nobody there. AF. Let's see if anybody comes up. Nobody, of course. Really great example, Allie. Nobody's going to come up. Okay, so for this person, I've reconnected with her many times. We have lots of friends from Westminster College, from where we went to school. Send her a message, say, hey, thanks so much for adding me on Facebook. I really appreciate it. I see that you have a lot of friends in common with me from Westminster. I graduated in 2010. Are you still there, or did you already graduate? Great way to get a conversation going, right? And just start a conversation and totally remove yourself from a sale. go into it to have a conversation with somebody. And if it leads to a sale, awesome. If not, you had a great day filled with conversations. Okay. Remove yourself from trying to make a sale. So I wanted to make sure I shared with you guys how to organize your friends list if you wanted to choose to go to Facebook and get your friends list exported. Because I know whenever I was in your situation as a brand new coach, I was like, I need to get organized because I can't remember who I'm talking to, when I'm talking to them, anything. Amanda Murphy, I know, posted in our group. She has a great system for like the first connection, second connection. I don't really get that detailed into it because as I'm going through and I hit their name again, I'll just pick the conversation up right where we left off. And I can usually tell where we're at from that point on. So do you guys have questions for me on the exporting or organizing at all? Lindsay or Liesel, can you guys kind of share what you guys do, if it's similar, if you organize a little bit differently as you go through things?
Honestly, I'm like ever changing my system. So what I do at the beginning of each week, and this works really well for me, I like paper pencil, but I like to also keep organized on the computer, just kind of for organizational purposes, because paper pencil, I think, can become sloppy and messy and hard to follow later on. So I make like a humongous dump list at the beginning of the week from my Facebook friends spreadsheet. And these are all the people that I plan to talk to this week, whether it be a connection, a follow-up, an invite. And then I make note next to them once I've sent the message, like FU is follow-up, and invite I is obviously an invite, a connection is a C, and I circle it. So that just is kind of how I do it. And then I put it on my the Power of Three tracker. And then I also update my spreadsheet too with color coded. It makes sense for me, but if everybody else would look at my spreadsheet, you would be like, I don't know what you're doing. But like I said, I'm ever changing it. So, it don't feel bad if you're like, what I used initially does not work at all for me anymore. So, as you go and as you start talking to more and more people, I think you have to kind of tweak it and change your how you do things. So I'm not really the best example, I don't think.
I think it showed us, Liesel, that we're doing the same things, right? We're inviting, we're connecting, we're following up. But the way you track it, it's just up to you. But it's important to track
just like you said, how Melanie does it and how Bonnie does things are completely different. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to toot my own horn, but I hit Success Club, not yet this month, but every month. So like what I do does work. So
exactly.
That's like reassurance that, okay, whatever this crazy thing is, like it is working for me. So
exactly.
Just do what works. And if you're reaching success, then bam, like you're doing good. So.
Exactly. Lindsay, what do you do to track?
So what I do is like basically the same. I do a big list of people, and my tactic lately has been to take my list and I mark that I've invited them, and then I delete the conversation because I was seeing people seeing my messages and they weren't responding back, and it was really getting to me and my self-esteem. So like that's something that you're going to come across, and it's the weirdest thing because it's really hard to explain why so many people just won't write you back, even just to say no thank you. So I delete it, and then I have track of it on my Power of Threes tracker always. And another thing that if I'm just going to invite someone without striking up a conversation first, what I do is I look on their Facebook page always to make sure that they're not having some type of issue going on in their life. They're not like pregnant, or they didn't have a death in their family, or it's not their birthday. Just really making sure that I'm inviting someone that might actually be interested in my challenge group. So, but yeah, I just do a huge list, and mine looks crazy too. It's highlighted and marked on, and I always put like a follow-up date. If they say no, I have a follow-up date, and it's usually like a month away. And so I don't like get on their nerves. So that's me.
That works. And what I really wanted you guys to take from this is we're doing the same things, just in different ways. And as long as you're connecting with people, you're starting conversations, and you're talking about this every single day with people, your success is going to happen. It will. And if, you see people and you're like, well, she's already at Success Club 10 and I'm at Success Club 0. I've done nothing. Like, it's just because it doesn't mean she's a better coach. It doesn't mean that you're not worth this. It just means she's connecting with more people. The ratio of people saying yes is 1 to 10. So if for every 10 invites you send out, that means one person is going to say, yes, give me more information. It's not necessarily a, yes, I'm going to do this. It's a, yes, I want more information. So think about it. I mean, if you're sending out, those 2 to 3 people, inviting them a day, it may take you 4 days to get to that point where somebody says, yes, give me information. So if you want to up your odds, up your invites, up the number of people you talk to. So don't look at somebody who's, blowing Success Club out of the water this month or whatever. Put your blinders on and really just focus on your business and what you need to do. The comparison game can eat you alive in this industry because we're very recognition driven, right? We love to shout out our coaches. We love to say good job. We love to praise people. We love to post leaderboards. And that's awesome when you're rocking that leaderboard and you're on top of it and, you feel really great. But it sucks whenever you're that person who's like, I'm pushing and I'm getting nothing. You really have to put on your blinders and just keep moving forward and know that your purpose is bigger and that's what you're going for. And that really boils down to your personal development and making sure that you're dialing into some form of personal development every single day. I can tell on days when I don't have my personal development or whenever I lacked on it or slacked on it because it impacts me, not necessarily that day, but the next day is like horrible. And it really, really influences my life. And if you have a hard time sending invites, if you have a hard time talking to people, do your personal development first. And then send your invites and then talk to people because it's going to fill your sails. That personal development is going to help you. It's going to boost your confidence. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to reinstill why you do this, right? And make you feel good about sending it. Wouldn't you say that the best thing that your coach did was recruit you? Hasn't it changed your life for the better? Hasn't it made you feel so much better about yourself? And isn't it awesome to be able to give that same sense of peace and the same sense of accomplishment to somebody else? So we think of inviting, we get icky, but isn't that what changed your life when your coach invited you? So think of it that way. And if somebody says no thank you, they say no thank you, and you put them on the follow-up list and you move on and you find somebody who does want to do it because we have lives to change and there are people out there who want this opportunity and are going to embrace this opportunity and really run with it. So I wanted to kind of open it up for questions now. What questions do you guys have for me? What objections are you getting? Where do you feel like you're stuck? What types of things is happening in those conversations that you're having with people? You guys can type or you can unmute and chat. I know for me as a new coach, I would get a lot of people who were interested, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, they said no. Like, I would talk to them and they'd be like, nah, no thanks. What? And it's really frustrating as a brand new coach because you've fallen in love with the products, right? And you love your Shakeology and you don't understand why people wouldn't want to invest in this. Like, this is awesome. Like, what do you mean you don't want to lose weight with a 21-day fix? You will, I promise. I did. And it's very hard for you to understand as a new coach why somebody isn't saying yes, right? And I went through that for sure. And it comes in just know that you're building your credibility on your wall and on your timeline. And it's more than just taking a quote from Pinterest and putting it on your wall. It's more than just sharing your sweaty selfie. It is adding value to somebody's life and, posting about what you're doing every single day. Like for me, like I had to sit at the Firestone dealership or, repair place today for like 2 hours while they worked on the car. Like, is that really what I wanted to do with my Monday morning with a toddler and an infant was sit at the car dealership? No, not at all. Trust me. But I put a positive spin on it on Facebook And I said, count your blessings. You know, Charlie's coloring, Harrison's sleeping. You know, this is a blessing in disguise. You know, so that was sharing with my friends on Facebook about finding the good and bad situations. So it's taking what you're doing in your life and making it relatable to other people. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? I feel like I'm just talking to you guys, just like spewing information at you. Any questions at all? What are some objections that you're getting from people whenever you're talking? Is it price? Is it just not the right time? What are the objections that you're getting? Price and not the right time. And, you know, price is tricky because some people truly can't afford it at this point in their life, and that's okay. And what I always say to them is, I totally understand. Would you mind if I keep you on my follow-up list? So that way, whenever the time is right, you and I can really work together, because I know this would really be life-changing for you. And, you know, you never end a conversation on a bad note, and you just go forward. And some people can't afford this, and that's okay. And know that, you know, from that initial point where you make that conversation with them and you talk about the program and they're really on board with it, and they say, oh, I just can't swing that right now. Don't hesitate to say, like, hey, I get it. That's totally fine. When would be a better time? You know, don't hesitate to ask them that, because if you've already talked to them and they're like, yeah, this sounds awesome, like, I want to do this, and then you show the price tag and they're like, oh, I can't swing that, I'm really sorry. Ask them when a better time would be. You know, people are going to start getting their tax returns. You know, hit me up in another month because we're going to have our tax return then, and it might be a great time for me to buy. You know, or, you know, just put them on your follow-up list. Is it okay if I follow up with you next month whenever I have another group starting up? And whenever I send out that follow-up message, I make sure, you know, hey, just wanted to check in and see how you were doing. I have another group starting up. No pressure, but we talked in the past and I wanted to keep you in the loop about when one was starting up. Is this a better time? And that's all you have to do. And know that a sale normally does not happen on the first invite. It doesn't. It happens on the follow-up, and sometimes the next follow-up or the next follow-up or the next follow-up with somebody. You know, the best case scenario is we post something on our Facebook page and somebody messages me and says, I want to do this challenge group. I don't care what the price is. I just want to do it. Sign me up. That's the best case scenario, right? But that's really rare, and that really never happens. It's all about building connections with people and making them feel appreciated. If it's not the right time, just ask them, hey, I get it. When would be a better time? Remember, a no is really just a not right now. You know, I've gotten many no's from people, and they were truly just a not right now. Lots of coaches on our team, lots of challengers in our challenge groups right now were no's initially. And the beauty is in the follow-up and how you approach the situation and staying connected in their life. Any other objections that you guys are getting right now at all?
Can I chime in?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to, like, I used to be crushed by people that told me no. And I just want to encourage you, like, the people that tell you no are those ones, like, now in my business. You know, I started in June, so here I am in February, however many months that's been. Those are the people now that are like, okay, I want to sign up. I don't care how much, you know, like, they are the ones that are, like, all in. And just, like, out of the blue will message you. So don't, like, discredit those people. I mean, you know, just stay active in their lives. Keep posting, like, you know, like things on their walls, or connect with them on their birthday. Like, those kind of people, don't push it. You know, you don't have to push Beachbody all the time, but just stay friends with them and just kind of, like, stay active in their life. And they're going to be the ones that do come around later. So don't be crushed. It honestly means that right now. They don't really, you know, people are just stubborn. They don't want to do, you know, like, the latest, greatest, coolest thing. Like, oh, Beachbody, like, here she goes again. Here's another coach. Like, I'm sure that's what people think. A lot of people, when they first see you, or they first get that invite from you, or they know, like, oh, she's this brand new coach. Like, here's another one. You know, like, but you know, if you are true and just real with them and continue to be a friend, just, you know, continue your friendship with them. I'm just, like, word vomiting all over you guys right now. But if you just, like, you know, just keep connected with them, and, you know, take Beachbody out of the picture if they say no. And you don't always have to be, I guess the bottom line is, you don't always have to be, like, forcing that down their throat to get them to join your challenge group at some point, because I've had so many people come around because I've let that no go, and I've just like wanted to, stay friends with them and connect with them. So sometimes you have to kind of take a step back and get that motive of selling a challenge pack out of your head, and just remain a true person, and somebody that they want to talk to and want to communicate with. So I don't know if that makes sense. I think I'm a little tired.
No, it makes sense, Lisa. And I think really, guys, what you want to take from that is it's okay to get a no from somebody, and they will come around. And what they're doing now is they're watching you. Well, she's probably just going to quit. She's not going to be doing this 2 months from now. So whenever you invite somebody, that's where your consistency comes into play, on your Facebook wall and your presence and showing up every day in your workout and sharing people about your workout. Brooke, your dog's cracking me up. And, just making sure, that you're not going to quit on them. That's what that's how I take a no is, they just want to make sure that I'm not going to quit on them, or that I'm not going to, give up on them, because that's what it really comes down to. I had a new coach who, she is a coach on our team. She's not very active, but I remember in her coach training, she said, I want to be that Beachbody coach who, after a challenger fails, I don't give up on them, because she did a challenge group. Life got in the way. She ended up quitting her job that year, and she had a big turbulence. And 3 months later, I was like, hey, let's get you back in. Your life slowed down a little. Let's get you going again. And she ended up wanting to be a coach after that. So, don't be that person who writes people off and says, she doesn't want to do this. I'm not going to bother her again, because they're watching you now, and they are going to see your success, and they're going to want that success. Everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to feel good. And if you are radiating that from your wall and your posts, people are going to want that too. Do you guys have any other questions before we kind of close it down before our team call? I just don't want to keep you on here if we're just going to keep rambling. I don't want to do that to you. Do you guys have any other questions about anything, coach training wise, objections you're getting, people you're talking to, how to handle certain situations? Any questions? Well, you'll think of them. I know you will. And when you do, don't hesitate to post in our coach training. And make sure, like I said, just really your goals this month are to be a student and to learn things and build relationships and talk to people. And if you're talking to people and you're sharing these programs and sharing our products every single day, you will have success. I promise. Okay. And don't get down when somebody tells you no. I've gotten like 4 no's today. It's no big deal. Just keep going. Okay. All right. I will see you guys in like 10 minutes. I'm going to go refill my water and hydrate before talking to you guys again. All right. So go send out like 4 invites in between now and the team call. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you in a few. All right.